Hi there, I'm Lindsay with Off the Beaten Hook, and this video tutorial is a supplement to my drawstring bag crochet pattern. The full pattern is free on my blog, or you can purchase the ad-free printable PDF from my pattern shop or from Ravelry. This video does not cover the entire pattern row by row, so if you're arriving here before you've gotten a hold of the pattern, feel free to watch first or go grab the pattern and come back here to complete your bag with me. You can find the links to the full written pattern in the description box below. This bag can, of course, be used for whatever purpose you need it for, but I originally designed the bag to be a crochet project bag, so I found an insert that fits inside it perfectly. It gives the bag more structure and has several pockets for organization. I show you the insert and how it works at the end of this video, so if you do decide you want to add that to your crochet bag too, you can find the link to the one I use in the description box as well. Hey guys, it's Lindsay with Off the Beaten Hook, and I am going to make a little mini version of this bag with you. As long as you have any multiple of 6 stitches in your bag, it's a highly versatile size, and I'm just going to make a small little version. I'm going to make about 6 rows of base with you, and then you can watch me make this little tiny bag. You don't need to watch me make 96 stitches over and over again to get the gist of how this goes. So I am going to start by making a magic circle and slip knot onto my hook, and then I am going to crochet 6 single crochets into this magic circle. Go ahead and close that up. All right, so I'm going to begin increasing my circle. So I'm going to place 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So at the end of round 2, I will have 12 stitches. All right, so there's my round 2. I've got 12 stitches. You are going to start yours in the exact same way. Go ahead and get going on your rounds. If you're doing the full size of the bag, you're going to go ahead and go all the way up to round 17, and you'll end with 96 stitches around for the full size of the base of this bag. Again, you can continue on and make it bigger. You can eliminate some rows and make it smaller. Totally up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and make 6 rounds, and I will meet you at the end of that. I have finished the base of my bag. I did 6 rows, so I have 36 stitches around. If you're doing the full pattern, you're going to have 96 stitches around. So when you finish the base, you are going to close with a slip stitch to the very first stitch of that round you just did, and a chain 1. And now what we're going to do for the first row of, or for the first round of the side of the bag, is we're going to do single crochet through the back loop only in each stitch around. You're going to start in that same stitch that you just slip stitched to, because you don't want to miss that stitch. So we're going to go straight in with a back loop only, and because I'm a fan of stitch markers, I always mark the first stitch of my round. All right, so I'm going back loop only, single crochet in each stitch around. I'm going to just stop for a second, and I'm going to shape this base. So basically what the back loop only does for you is it just gives you a really nice straight start to the edge of your bag. So it starts going up right away. Okay, so go ahead and just stop and kind of shape it a little bit there. Okay, so to end, we are going to slip stitch to that very first stitch again. And there you have it. All right, so for your next round, we're going to start our foundation row, or our setup row for our split puffs. So we're going to chain 1. I'm going to make my first puff in that exact same stitch where I just slip stitched. This one is just a puff. It's not the split puff. So for the puff, what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, insert into that same stitch where you just placed your slip stitch, yarn over and pull up, and you're going to yarn over and do that again. So yarn over and go into that same stitch again, yarn over and pull up. All right, so right now you've got 5 loops on the hook. yarn over and pull through all 5 loops, and then you're going to chain 1 to close. Okay, that is your puff stitch. This little eye is what this is called. That chain 1 makes an eye. That is the eye of the puff. That is where you are going to place your stitch marker. That is going to be the first stitch of the round, okay? It wasn't the chain 1. It wasn't this stitch that was actually created when you pulled all the way through. It's that eye. That's going to be your very first stitch when you're counting, okay? So now we are going to start with our split puffs. And what that does is we're going to make basically 2 little puffs, and then we close them together on the top. And this is how that works for this row. So again, all into that same, we're starting in that same stitch again where you just made your puff. We're going to do a split puff. So here we go. We're going to yarn over into that same stitch and pull up. Yarn over again into that same stitch and pull up. All right? Keep those all on your hook. Skip the next 2 stitches. So skipping this next one and this next one and into this one right here, we're going to do that same thing. Yarn over through that stitch, yarn over and pull up. One more time, yarn over into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up. Look at all those loops you have on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, yarn over and pull through all 9 loops on your hook. All right? Chain 1. That is your split puff. Again, this is the eye. You will be using that as you come around on your next round and subsequent rounds. That's where you're going to be placing your split puffs when you come around, okay? So let's do that together again. For your next split puff, you're going to start the first leg. So basically you've got 1 leg here and 1 leg here where you split that puff. For this next one, you're going to start in this same stitch that you placed that second leg of that split puff you just did. So that's where we're going to start it. Then we'll skip over the next 2 stitches and we'll place our second leg in this one. So we'll do that with you. What we're going to do in between each of these split puffs is we're going to make a chain. So you chained 1 to close it and make that eye, and then you're going to chain another one. So you make your split puff. Basically, it's like a split puff, chain 2, split puff, chain 2. You'll see it as we go around. All right, so again, straight into this same stitch of this second leg, where yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up. Again, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up. Then for the second leg, we're going to skip these 2 stitches and go into this stitch here. Yarning over, go into this stitch, yarn over, pull up. Again, yarn over into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up. You've got those 9 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all of those loops. Chain 1, chain again. Got your next split puff. Okay, we're gonna do that all the way around. I'll do this again with you in this over these next few stitches. Again, starting our next split puff into that same stitch where you ended your last leg. Yarn over, insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up. Again, into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up. Skipping over the next 2 stitches, we'll place our second leg of that split puff into this stitch right here. Yarn over into that stitch, pull up, and again into that same stitch, pull up. Got the 9 loops, yarn over and pull through all 9. Close it with the chain, chain again. Okay, so this is it coming together. So I am going to let you finish your first round of split puffs here, and I will meet you at the end and show you how to end your row. Alright, I'm on my second to last puff here. Close it up, chain 1. Right, now when you get to the end of your round, you'll see that you have 2 stitches left, and then you have your stitch where you slip stitched at the very first of the round. The first leg of your final puff is going to go, as usual, into this same stitch where the second leg of your last split puff ended. And then the second leg of your split puff is going to go into that same stitch right here underneath this chain where you slip stitched, okay? So I'll show you how that looks. Into that same stitch from your last split puff, and then into that where the base of your chain one where you started your row. And that is how your row will end. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do your chain to close it, but you won't do that extra chain that you've been doing through here. Okay, so you just make your eye, and then that will be the last stitch of your round. Then, the reason why I had you mark your eye from this guy, from the split puff, is that is where, or I'm sorry, from the puff that you started your round with, that is where you're going to slip stitch to close the round. In that eye from that single puff that you started with, okay? So you're going to slip stitch to that guy to close your round. And here is how you will proceed. So this next round is your repeat round. This is the round you're going to go again and again and again until you reach the height of your bag. Here's what you're going to do. You begin by chain one. Okay, you're going to make a puff into that same stitch that you just slip stitched into. Just your puff, not your split puff. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up. Do that one more time. Yarn over, pull through all 5, and then close it with a chain. Okay, that again, that's your very first stitch of the round, so we're going to mark that. Okay, and then straight in, we're going to start with our split puffs. Now what you're going to do when you go around is you're going to be placing the legs into the eyes of the split puffs from the previous round. So moving forward, all of the legs of your split puffs will be made in the eyes of the split puffs from the previous round. You'll be working in these little eyes where you did your chain one to close your split puff. So your first split is going to be, the first leg will be in that same stitch that you just made that puff in. So we'll go in with our first leg into that same stitch just like you did in the last round. And then your second leg will go right into this next eye of this next split puff. Okay, yarn over, pull through all those loops. Chain one to close that, chain one again. Okay, so now it's the same method as the previous round, but you're going to be going into these eyes all the way around as you do your puffs. So I'll do this next one with you again. So into that same eye with your first leg, into this second eye for your next leg. Okay, yarn over, pull through all those loops, chain one, chain another one, and here we go, into that same eye, into this next eye. Okay, so this is what you're going to do all the way around. So I'll let you get to it, and I'll meet you at the end, and we will close up this round together. Into that last eye from the previous round. And again, we're ending with just one chain. We're not going to make that second chain that we've been making as we've gone around. And slip stitch to that eye from your very first puff. And that is your repeat round. So you'll continue with that. Again, you'll chain one, you'll make a puff into that same eye from the puff below it. You'll do your split puffs all the way around. You end with that one chain to close that split puff and slip stitch to the top of the puff, and you will have your little bag well on its way. I'm switching to the full-size bag to show you the rest of this tutorial for the top part because the little one is just not enough space for you to really visualize this top part. All right, so what I've done is I've done 2 rows of my single crochet all the way around, and I'm on the 3rd row of this top part where we're going to add in our strap. So for this round, I am going to create little gaps where we're going to be able to weave in our strap later. So this is what you do for that round. So I have joined with a slip stitch, my second round of single crochet, and I'm just going to go ahead and chain one. So for this one, we're going to place 10 single crochet, And then we're going to chain 3, skip 2, chain or single crochet 10 more, chain 3, skip 2, and we're going to do that all the way around. And that's going to create 8 little slits where we can slip in our strap. So I'll show you how that comes together. Zoom in a little bit here. All right, so beginning in that same stitch where you just placed your slip stitch and your chain 1, we're going to begin our first section of 10 single crochet. So this is 1. I am going to mark that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Chain 3. We're going to skip over just these next 2, and we're going to start in this one right here, and we're going to go for 10 more single crochet. So going right through here, we'll do 10 more. So that's going to just create a little gap where you can weave in your strap later. So that was 1. Do a total of 10, 2, 10, chain 3, skip over the next 2, and then in that third one, begin your next section of 10. So do that all the way around, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm coming around to the very end, making my 10th single crochet, and what you'll find is you've got 2 stitches left. So you do your final little gap with a chain 3, and then you're going to just slip stitch. You'll skip over those 2 stitches and you will slip stitch to your first stitch of the round. All right, so now you have all these little gaps. You'll have 8 of them, where you can come around and weave in your strap when the time comes. All right, so go ahead and finish up the top part here with your rows of single crochet, and then I will show you how to make the strap, and we will be finishing off this bag. Let's make this strap together. I am using Hooked Spesso Chunky Cotton. This is 100% recycled cotton. I have this on hand. If you do not have a chunky cotton or something that is really not flexible at all, you don't want it to be stretchy, so cotton is great for this. If you don't have that a big cotton, you can double up your worsted weight cotton that you used for the bag. That is no problem. So just double it up. It'll end up being thicker. I'm going to use a size 7mm crochet hook for this. Okay, a little bit of context for this cord. You're going to be working with 2 different strands at the same time. I like to use either from 2 different balls at the same time, or cake your yarn so that you can work from the inside and the outside at the same time. The back one, the yarn that you're going to be holding in your yarn hand, you end up using a little bit more on that strand than the front. And so from the past, I've tried to use 1 long strand, and I'm trying to come up with like 10 inches of cord or whatever, and I always end up like running out of yarn on 1 strand before it's done. So it's just easier for me to just use 2 different strands from a ball, so I can just go until I have the length I need. Okay, that's the context. Now, of course, you can just take 1 really long piece of yarn and fold it in half. You would slip knot at that half or at that fold mark and just go along and use the yarn up as you're making your cord. I did a little example for that to see how much it would take me, and it took me about 90 inches of yarn to make 8 inches of cord. So just based on your size of yarn that you're using, on the weight of yarn that you're using, just do a little example. If you just have one ball of yarn and you just want to use one long strand and snip it, fold it in half and go that route. Okay, so that's just a little bit of context to set you up for success. You're going to slip knot onto your hook, 7mm. Okay, so holding your yarn, that is going to go into your working hand, just like how you would normally work your crochet. The other side is going to just dangle in the middle. It's just going to dangle through your palm. So however you want to find out to hold it to where it's comfortable, that's great. And here is how you are going to make that cord. You're going to take that dangly front tail, or the front part of your yarn, and you are going to wrap it from front to back over your hook, just like that. Okay? Then, holding that in place, you are going to yarn over with your working yarn, just like you normally do, and pull it through all of those loops on your hook. This is going to become easier as time goes on. Okay, so that is your first stitch of your cord. Again, you've still got this dangling here, and you've got your working yarn still in your hand. And this is going to become, like, after a handful of these, it's going to become like no problem for you. So let's go again. We're wrapping this one forward to backward around your hook. You're just going to tucking it in. Okay, just kind of holding it with your hand, all of that grouping of yarn, yarning over and pulling through. Okay, starting again, grabbing your dangly yarn in the front to back, yarning over normally in the back, pulling it through. Okay, so as you get the hang of this, it's going to become a lot more natural for you. Okay, oh, I snagged a little piece there. Just over and over again. Check it out. So keep on going until you run out of your strand, and you'll have your cord ready to go. I'm going to show you how to put the strap in right now. I left really long tails on my strap because I'm going to try adding some beads. It's still a little bit up in the air whether that's going to work or not, but you can finish off yours however you would like. But I am going to show you how to simply weave this in. Okay, so I found this incredible canvas insert, which is totally optional, but I wanted to show you how this all comes together if you do decide to snatch one of these up. I originally designed this as a project bag, and I wanted an insert that had a bunch of slots, so I could put my hooks and my stitch markers and just leave them in there, just to leave a few of them in here permanently, and then have plenty of space for my project inside. All right, so this is, when I found this, I actually designed the size of this bag to fit this insert perfectly. So again, it's completely optional. I mean, this is nice and sturdy because it's made of cotton that's not super stretchy. You absolutely don't need an insert in here at all. And you might not be using it in the same way I'm using it. So whatever you'd like. Or you could even cut like a really nice circular piece of, cardboard or some really stiff, base. And that would also make it be a cute bag, but keep the circular base nice and stiff. All right, so I'm going to just finish off my bag by putting this insert in.